Welcome to Usapang Pantahanan. This is Mommy Fem, and kamusta na po kayong lahat? And of course, with me, this great Saturday ay ang akin pong napaka-energetic na partner that I really miss a lot. At walang iba, of course, si Mommy Narlene. How are you, Mommy Narlene?
Hello everyone! Good evening, good morning, whatever part of the world you are. Welcome to our Saturday edition of Usapang Pantahanan. Naku, Mami Fem, ako po ay masayang-masaya at eto na naman tayong dalawa magkakakwentuhan and of course, our friends na makakarinig uli ng panibagong pag-uusapan na ngayon naman ay mga galing sa mga friends natin from, of course, from Malaysia. Natutuwa ako, Mami Fem.
Oo nga, I'm very, very happy, Mami Narlene, because one of our good friend, of course, a breastfeeding advocate in Malaysia, granted us, of course, her time to share insightful, informative breastfeeding myths. Yan. Ano ba yung mga kultura doon sa Malaysia? Kasi last month, we featured breastfeeding myths dito sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
And of course, we want to know then ano ba ang nangyayari sa ibang bansa like in Malaysia. And of course, Mami Narlene, kayo po ang mag-i-introduce kay Dr. Norna Sira Suhairum. Actually, we call her Doc. Okay, Mami Narlene, kindly introduce our guest. Hi, Dr. Nad.
Okay. Mga kaibigan, I would like to introduce to you Norma Sira Suhairum. She is a senior lecturer and researcher at the School of Education, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, University Technology Malaysia. She has been working with UTM since 2006. She receives the degree of Bachelor of Science Food Studies in 2006 and the Master of Science, Technical and Vocational Education 2012 from the University Putra Malaysia or UPM, and her PhD degree, Technical and Vocational Education from University Technology Malaysia in 2016. She is actively involved in breastfeeding advocacy since 2011 as a peer counselor trained by the Malaysia Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Association. She is also a registered peer counselor for the Breastfeeding Counselor Networking Program since 2016. She has been appointed as the chair for Kelab, Sokongan, Penyusuan, Susu, Ibu, Johor, Bahru in 2016 or from 2016 to the present. Mga kaibigan, mga kausapan pantahanan, let us welcome Dr. Norna Sira Suhairum, your trusted breastfeeding advocate.
Enjoy watching!
Hi everyone, thank you for this wonderful opportunities to have one sharing session in this Usapang Pantahanan YouTube channel. Today I will be sharing a topic on breastfeeding myths with all of you. Before I proceed with my sharing session, let me introduce to you myself. I'm Norna Sira binti Suhairum. You can call me Nad. Okay, I'm a peer counselor and also I'm a chair of the Johor Bahru Breastfeeding Support Association. And I'm also the member of the Breastfeeding Counselor Networking Program, the BCNP in Malaysia. Okay, and at the same time, I'm also a senior lecturer in the School of Education, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, University Technology Malaysia. Okay, let me share with you my love for breastfeeding in Malaysia in terms of the community and also society activities. So I'm a peer counselor trained by the Malaysian Breastfeeding Peer Counselor Association in 2011. Okay, you can see in the slide that baby. Okay, it is my first child when I was first have this opportunity to attend the training on how to be a peer counselor in this area. And then I'm also the appointed as the president or chair for the Club Sokongan Penyusuan Susu Ibu Johor Bahru from 2016 until now. Okay, and the BCNP, the peer counselor for the BCNP, it is a networking of peer counselor in Malaysia since 2016. And also there is another one association on breastfeeding, which is the Happy Breastfeeding Malaysia. So I am also a peer counselor attached to this Happy Breastfeeding Malaysia since 2020. So yeah, that was one of the introduction on myself. Okay, let me share with you the current breastfeeding situations in Malaysia. So in the last 12 years, the number of infants under 6 months of age globally who are exclusively breastfed has increased by more than 10%. So this means 48% of infants worldwide, including in those mothers from Philippines, now benefit from this healthy start in life. We are focusing in the early or the infant feeding practices as early as we can, right? So latest available data from the National Health and Mobility Survey in 2016 in Malaysia estimates that only 47% of infants are exclusively breastfed during the first 6 months. So this is a significantly lower than the national target of 58% set by our Ministry of Health. So we need to do as many things that we could to improve these rates. Okay, so this is the content of my presentation. Introduction to breastfeeding myths, common myths about breastfeeding, nutritional myths, the social and lifestyle myths, and also the psychological and emotional myths, and also the conclusion and resources. So do I need support or do you need support? So I believe that for any mothers, okay, regardless if it is the matter of breastfeeding or anything relates to our babies or our children, we need this, we can say these 5 big things: the emotional support, professional support, economically support, physical support, and the most important thing is the social support. So support is one of very important things that we need for a good start and to sustain a breastfeeding. Introduction to breastfeeding myths, common myths, and also I think in many culture there will be many misconceptions exist about breastfeeding. It is related to our beliefs about its adequacy, whether our milk is enough, especially during the early stage of after the postpartum period, and then the duration and how long, okay, or until when that we need to breastfeed our babies, and also the impact of breastfeeding on the maternal health. However, there is always an evidence-based facts to challenge these myths, and many research supports the numerous benefits of breastfeeding for both mother and child, and debunking the prevalent myths and promoting informed choice. So as the member of the community, we have to work together to address any myths that would hinder or or to be one of the factors that might challenge mothers to sustain in their breastfeeding practices. So why it is important to address myths? Because we want to enhance awareness, and it is a never-ending process, because every day there will be a new mother, there will be a newborn. So it is a never-ending, it is an ongoing process where addressing myths will help to raise awareness, create awareness about the realities of breastfeeding, and we will ensure that new parents will have the right, the correct, and the accurate information. And we want to promote healthier choices for families by debunking the common misconceptions. We can encourage healthier feeding practices that will benefit both mothers and the infants. And then the most important thing is we want to support the maternal confidence, because for every mothers or the one, the spouses, the husband, it is important for us to provide a factual information that empowers mothers, boost their confidence, so that they will have the support needed and also the required information for that could help them to address any misconceptions about breastfeeding. So what is common myths about breastfeeding? So most people think that breastfeeding is easy, so it is nothing to be it is something that every mother should know, and there's not so much important thing about breastfeeding. It's easy, it's normal, it's common. So that is the most important myth that we need to address, because breastfeeding is something that need to be learned. And individual experiences may vary between one person to one person, from one mother to another mother. So support systems really matter when we encounter or we meet any mother that have the difficulties during the early stages of breastfeeding, especially after giving birth. So this is where the learning curve involved, and I think if mother or the pregnant mothers, before they give birth, they should attend any classes on breastfeeding, especially the antenatal courses, so that they will have a better preparation on what are the expectations after they give birth. Okay, next, another myth is breastfeeding is painful and hurt, and every mother should bear with the pain. It is not true. Because yes, discomfort at first while after giving birth, while I think in the early initiation of the breastfeeding is common at first, because our body is adjusting. We might face a nipple crack or sore or sensitive, but we need to find remedies as soon as possible. Okay, but if the pain persists, okay, we need to find out, or we need to help mothers who experience this kind of discomfort, pain, and hurting feelings due to the breastfeeding, because there might be some problems or ineffective positioning or latching. So we need to check for that kind of things, because breastfeeding is not supposed to be painful and hurt. So if you feel breastfeeding is painful, mother will not be happy, and it might be one of the factors that discourage mother to breastfeed, to continue breastfeed their baby. So we don't want that kind of things to be happen. So another myth about breastfeeding is you can't breastfeed if you have small breasts. So this is not very true. This is not true. Yeah, because breast size does not determine milk production. It's the hormone. So it is anatomy, how our body works, oversize. So size not really important in consideration. So the support and also the technique, the breastfeeding technique is the key. And then another myth is breastfeeding will make your breast sack. So this is like genetics play a major role, and breastfeeding is a temporary changes, and we need to have to find a supportive measure, maybe in terms of using the right size of bra, and then yeah, there are some maybe we could do some breastfeeding massage. So there are things that we need to figure out, and definitely breastfeeding will not make your breast sack. Okay, and then okay, another myth is you shouldn't breastfeed if you are sick. So this is not true. Always check for infection transmission. If mother is sick, okay, you should consult healthcare providers and get the necessary medical advices, and also you need to find a breastfeeding support, immunity and community. Make sure you have enough, you maintain a proper, you take a proper diet intake, okay, eat healthy, eat more fruit, eat drink plenty of water. So take care of yourself. For mothers, you need to be healthy so that you can take care of your babies and other children. And then you shouldn't tandem breastfeed or while in pregnancy. Well, this is also one of the myths that we find very common in our culture in Malaysia, where the elderly in our society think that you should not tandem breastfeed. Okay, in the slide, it is me with my baby. Okay, and actually I am breastfeeding. In the picture, I am breastfeeding my first daughter using the nursing cover. Okay, so you can imagine when I was when my second child is born, my elder is only 1 year and 6 months. So we know that we need to continue to breastfeed until 2 years. So I am practicing tender nursing at that point of time. So I face a lot of society misconceptions about breastfeeding both of the babies. So that's the challenge that I am experiencing myself individually at that point of time. But I'm happy because at that point of time I have the right information and I am supported by the right information about you can continue to breastfeed as long as you are healthy, but of course you give more priority to the newborn, okay, compared to the elder child. So always if you think you have the self-efficacy to continue to breastfeed both babies, you need to check for not infection, but you need to check for your health conditions, the previous history, and then you also need to find breastfeeding support, and also you need to consult the healthcare providers, get the advice from your doctors, okay, about your decision to continue breastfeeding while in pregnancy or after giving birth to the next kid, to the next baby. And then, okay, nutritional myths. Breast milk is not enough for baby, and then formula is just as good as breast milk, so that is not true. And you need to drink milk to make milk, so it is not true. Yeah, as long as you eat healthy, you eat balanced diet, and it's good enough for you. Okay, social and lifestyle myths. Okay, breastfeeding is inconvenient. Okay, you can't breastfeed in public, so this is one of the challenge that we face in Malaysia, where nursing in public is not very commonly practiced. Okay, and then another one concern of mothers is breastfeeding will prevent you from losing weight. Yeah, but it is all about the metabolism, and the weight loss is very much depending on how you practice a healthy lifestyle, doing more exercises, and something like that. And then the psychological and emotional myths. Okay, breastfeeding is only for bonding. So there is mothers who think that they not really care about the bonding. So this is not very true, because breastfeeding is more than the bonding. That is about the nutritional benefits, the health advantage, and the developmental impact to the child. So summary of the key points is importance of addressing myths, and then the nutritional superiority of breast milk, and the supportive environment. So always look for the right the local support groups, and then the right resources about breastfeedings, and then always seek for guidance from the healthcare professional. So mothers, okay, get supported and be supportive for other mothers, because I really believe that mother to mother support, encouragement, information, and education will promote understanding of breastfeeding in any community. Like what we have, okay, we always do some social gathering or potlucks, because we love that kind of thing, so sharing foods, okay, and to create a healthy and happy environment among mothers in our community. So okay, so this is my motherhood journey. I am a proud mother of 5. Okay, I believe I am surrounded by the right community, by the supportive mothers around me, so I successfully breastfeed all 5, and I did the tandem breastfeeding, infant and toddler. I breastfeed while in pregnancy. So I have been a breastfeeding mother for 13 years, because right now I am still breastfeeding my youngest son. Okay, so I experienced long distance marriage, and I'm also doing a postgraduate studies during having a small kids, and also I'm a working mother. So motherhood is a never-ending process. It never gets easier, and you just get better. Okay, so always seek for the right information, and make sure that we ourselves can debunk any breastfeeding myths, and also we should be capable to help other mothers to address any myths that will hinder their breastfeeding journey. So thank you, and I'm more than happy to be sharing one of this important topic about breastfeeding with all of you, and see you again. So if you have any questions or further questions, then maybe we can have another session. So bye bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nat, for that very insightful and informative sharing about some of the breastfeeding myths in Malaysia, and I really appreciate all those informative, insightful sharing. And as Mami Nerlin, just to let you know that Dr. Nad is also one of these who were granted a scholarship in the recent 25th World Congress of International Federation of Home Economics. So kasama namin siya, no, na nag-grant ng scholarship. And as you can see in the picture, yan, magkakasama kami, ako, si Dr. Nad, si Sir Raburar from DepEd, and of course my husband.
Yes, oo.
Mama din, no? And it was very a very fulfilling trip kasi we were able to share our researches, oral presentation, and Dr. Nad did also a wonderful presentation, as well as with my other colleagues, with our other colleagues like Sir Raburar, and who talk about in his topic on working with indigenous people as an educator. And of course, in my case, Mami Nerlin, I shared about how Usapang Pantahanan YouTube contributed as an informal training, was a tool for our victims of sex trafficking survivors. So I'm very happy, Mami Nerlin, na ang dami nating nakuhang insights sa kanya. Siguro bago nating pag-usapan yung ating bonus recipe for lactating mothers. Isa sa mga magandang nakuha kong insight sa kanya na hindi ko alam, this is my first time, it's all about the tandem breastfeeding. Meaning that you can breastfeed the same time while you are pregnant. Kasi,
yes.
Years ago, when I got pregnant in my third child, I stopped the breastfeeding for my second child. So, ngayon ko lang nalaman, now that I found out that it's okay, it's okay. But I think maybe some mothers are not okay with this. Maybe because of maybe some health reasons. But I'm grateful that we were able to inspired by Dr. Nad. Kasi in her example talaga, Mami, makikita mo naman, meron siyang Dr. Nad continue to breastfeed one child, and then the third child while she's pregnant with the, I think, third or fourth child, parang ganun. So, it's really an inspiration. And yung mga breastfeeding myths na nakita natin o napakinggan kay Dr. Nads in Malaysia, halos pareho rin din sa atin, Yung about sagging breast.
Totoo naman yun.
Pag may sakit, hindi pwedeng at very inconvenient sa mother or hindi kompleto ang sustansya pag pag breast milk. So, pare-pareho lang pala.
And Mami Fem, yung sinasabi mo kaninang tandem na pagbe-breastfeeding, na-experience ko yan. Kasi yung aking panganay, nag-uumpisa pa lang mag-aral maglakad, ay buntis na ako noon kay Christopher. So paglabas ni Christopher, sumususo pa rin yung panganay ko, sumususo rin naman yung pangalawa ko. Hindi naman ako naubusan ng gatas, yes. At maganda nga kasi mas lalong dumadami yung gatas the more na nagbe-breastfeed ka sa mga babies mo. So, kaya ngayon ko wala napansin, meron palang doon. Kasi akala ko noon, dahil syempre, magkasunod talaga, So, okay rin pala naman yung ganon.
Parang sa very dynamic ang ang katawan ng isang nanay.
Yes,
blessed by nanay. The Lord. Blessed by God na mag-function ito ng maayos. This pregnancy at the same time you're of course breastfeeding another child.
Yes, oo. Tsaka blessing, Mami Fem, kasi hindi naging mga sakitin ng mga anak ko. lahat sila breastfed. Walang, di ba, ibang bata nagkakasakit. Yung akin sa awa ng Diyos, walang nagkasakit noong malilit sila tsaka nung growing up na. Dito lang, mga lagnat-lagnat, ganun. Pero yung mga sakit na, hindi. Kasi para bang naalalayan nung gatas ng,
oo nga.
ng
Kasi
ina.
nga, tulad nung mga episodes natin nakaraan, na itong mga, ang gatas ng ina is the best talaga for babies because it contains all the nutrients na kailangan and panlaban, no? Sa anumang sakit.
Correct.
Mami, thank you very much. At syempre, Dr. Nads, thank you once again. We are truly grateful.
Thank you very much, Doc.
And we were so inspired by your example. So I'm grateful because Dr. Nads is not just teaching breastfeeding, but she practiced it. That's why we are so inspired.
So, nakakreate siya ng group, Nakakreate siya ng group ng mga breastfeeding mothers.
I hope someday, Mami Narlene, we can be part of an organization promoting breastfeeding. Maganda yun, no? And I think Usapang Pantahanan can do that every year. Talk about breastfeeding, and that's one way on how we can promote breastfeeding.
Yes, totoo yan.
And of course, Mami Narlene, this is a very important part of our topic because sa mga breastfeeding mothers, laging nagugutom. And we want breastfeeding mothers to eat healthy. And one of our recommendation based on research na maganda, masarap, at masasabi kong kakaiba, para naman hindi naman puro tinapay. No, kasi puro tinapay, minsan mga matatamis nga eh. Pero itong atin pong ibabahagi, Mami Narlene, sa ating pong mga nanay na nagpapasuso, ay may mga ingredients po dito na medyo kakaiba, pero maganda po na masubukan natin kasi available naman sa market. At ito po ay masasabi ko na affordable din naman at ginagamit na po dahil ang dami ng mga tao ngayon na gumagamit nito dahil for health reasons. No? Kung ating ibabahagi ay ang tinatawag na no-bake lactation rice. Meaning, hindi ko kailangan ng oven para gawin ito. Kasi busy natin, schedule mommies, kailangan yung ating mga hinahanda ay simple na lang, no? Ito halo-halo lang. So, anong mga ingredients na dapat nating paghalo-haluin? Una, bili ho tayo ng 2 cups of old-fashioned oats. Pag yung old-fashioned oats, hindi ho ito yung oatmeal na maliliit. Ito ho yung malalaki. Pero I think, kung meron naman kayong, kung hindi kaya ng bulsa, yung malalaking oatmeal, pwede naman yung maliliit. Okay?
Yes, oo.
So, pangalawa, kung meron ho kayong makita sa grocery ng flaxseed, chia seed, o yung psyllium husk, bili po kayo. Meron ho sa Mercury niya psyllium husk. Mura na actually yan, Mami.
Yes, oo.
Ito ay magandang supplement. No? At nilalagay pala yan sa ating pwedeng ilagay yan sa ating mga baked goodies. Pero paborito ko dyan, Mami, ay yung chia seed.
Meron din kami yan.
Para kasi siyang ano nga yung sago?
Linga. Parang maldingang maliliit na itim.
Yan. And then, of course, merong ang original sa recipe niyan ay yung brewer's yeast. Kaya lang ito ay medyo may kamahalan at makikita mo lang yan sa mga specialty nutrition stores. Kaya naman, ang pwedeng pamalit dyan ay yung chia seed or yung psyllium husk na available naman sa groceries or online store. And of course, 1 cup peanut butter. Ngayon, pag gagamit kayo ng peanut butter, make sure na ito yung mas healthy na peanut butter. Yung totoong peanut butter. Like yung Skippy. Ako, nag-plug na ako. No? Pero ito ay, pero meron naman pong mga ibang peanut butter na hindi matamis. Meron ng mga products ng Filipino products in the market sa supermarket na nakalagay peanut butter light peanut butter, ibig sabihin hindi siya yung matamis. Hindi tulad nung mga or regular peanut butter. And then, kasi lalagyan ho natin ito ng honey. So, kalahating tasang honey. So, medyo, ano nga ito, mami, no? Medyo mahal na recipe. Pero kung wala kayong honey, meron ho tayong tinatawag na stevia powder. Yun po ay mas magandang pamalit sa sugar kasi yun ay hindi naman po sugar, no? Siya ay galing sa stevia plant. It's a sweetener na hindi siya artificial sweetener, it's natural sweetener. So meron din yan sa supermarket. Pero kung gusto mo ng maskubado, konti lang siguro. Kung gusto mo yung mas healthier na sugar, maskubado, okay na yon. Pero konti lang. Pero ang ano ko dito, Mami Narlene, since may peanut butter na, pwedeng optional na lang yung honey.
Yes, correct.
O yung mga pangpatamis kasi balagyan ng chocolate chips.
Oo, matamis na rin.
Tamis, no? So, ang ibig lang sabihin dito, pwede kayong mag-adjust.
Yes.
Sa inyong ingredients. Actually nga,
correct.
Instead of putting chocolate chips, just kung ayaw mo ng chocolate chips, pwedeng raisins.
Yes.
Instead of chocolate chips. Pero kung yung chocolate chips niyo ay dark, dark chocolate chips.
Yes.
Okay lang yan. Okay? So, yan, no? So, parang may dessert na si Mami. Eat 2 pieces before or after.
After, yes.
Sige. Sige, alamin naman natin how to do it.
Okay, ayan. So, first is mix all ingredients except the chocolate chips in a bowl. Mix on low speed until the mixture is well combined. And then, you stir in the chocolate chips. Next is roll mixture into 2 tablespoon size smooth balls and place on parchment paper. Place in the refrigerator for 30 minutes. Once the bites have set, transfer them to an airtight container and store for up to 2 weeks. Mukhang hindi aabot ng 2 weeks ito, Mami, kung masarap siya. Diba?
Siyempre naman. At saka, pag wala naman silang mixer,
pwede naman hand mixer. Hand mix mo na lang. Tika makombine well lang.
Kitchen gloves. Lalagyan mo kitchen gloves.
Yun,
And then, ikaw na mismo imasi-masi mo na din.
Pwede rin tong pang diet, diet snacks. Kasi oatmeal siya. Hindi naman kailangan para sa mga lactate, sa mga breastfeeding mothers. Pwede naman to kahit yung tayo, para hindi tayo tumaba, tapos natin ang snacks. Ayan. Pwede natin gawin yan, Mami Fem.
Oo nga. I agree. No, kumbaga kung nagki-crave ka ng something matamis, I think mas okay ito kasi na meron
ako yan lahat dito gagawin ko.
May oatmeal. Yung bang ang tawag diyan parang energy bars, pero energy
bars. Yes, oo. Homemade.
Mami, mas masarap yun kung may honey, pero kung mo ng honey, gumawa ka na lang ng ibang substitute na hindi masyadong tataba.
Correct.
And syempre, ito ay sabihin na natin na makalorie, no? Makalorie siya. Hindi natin kinompute pero based on sa peanut butter pa lang. Kasi ang peanut butter, ang isang teaspoon niyan, it's already 45 calories. No? Kasi 1 teaspoon is 1 exchange, parang 1 oil yan. 45 calories.
Nagpapasuso naman, Mami Fem. Excuse na muna siya ngayon.
Pero tayong hindi nagpapasuso.
isa lang ang kakainin.
Isa lang or bihira kainin. No? Yes. Yan ang trick. Alright? And then of course, ano ang health benefits ng mga nabanggit nating pamalit, no? Yung mga seeds. Actually, kaya ho binibigay sa mga lactating moms or even sa hindi lactating moms ang flaxseed kasi yan po ay isa sa mga pwedeng pamalit sa chia seeds and psyllium husk. Dahil ako, nagamit ko na ang flaxseed, Mommy, in one of my baking activity sa bahay. Ito ay sinubstitute ko sa egg. Kasi pwede siyang substitute sa egg eh. Yung grounded flaxseed. So, kasi it will, kumbaga kakapit sa kanya yung mga ingredients. Kasi di ba ang eggs pampakapit yan. Siya yung pinapakapit niya yung mga ingredients ng baked product. So, kung gusto mong healthy, walang egg, walang cholesterol, you can use flaxseed. So, ang flaxseed po kasi, it's high in fiber at low in carbohydrates. And of course, it promotes weight loss. Yan ang maganda dyan, no?
Of course.
Dahil it promotes weight loss. And it's gluten-free. So, kung may allergy, kung yung mga may allergy, di ba, sa gluten, ayan, kumbaga safe siya sa mga may allergy sa gluten. Ayan. And it promotes digestive health. Meaning, madali lang po siyang kumbaga hindi ka matutunawan ka. At maybe because it's high fiber, kaya maganda siya sa tiyan. And most importantly, it has omega-3 fatty acids. Pangpakinis yan, Mommy, ng balat.
Yes.
At of course, protection yan sa anumang sakit. It promotes healthier skin and hair. It lowers your cholesterol. It has high quantities of antioxidant, mga anti-cancer, no? It fights cancer. And sa mga nagme-menopause, it helps sa mga simptomas ng. So, ang flaxseed, ano ho yan? Pwede nyo ihalo sa inyong mga paboritong pagkain. At Mami, isa sa mga nabanggit natin ingredients kanina ay ang chia seed.
Yan, ang 2 tablespoons of chia seeds will contains 64% more potassium than a banana. 2 times the antioxidants of blueberries. 41% of your daily fiber. 5 times more calcium than milk. Imagine. Then 100% more omega-3 than salmon. 3 times more iron than spinach. 20% protein. 32% your daily magnesium. Aba, imagine mo no, Mami Feb, itong chia seeds na pagkaliit-liit.
Yes.
Ay napakalaki pala ng kanyang nutrient value.
Yes.
Actually, Mami Feb, ito naglalagay ako niyan sa aking oatmeal.
Yes.
Minsan sa aking gatas. Kasi ang hilig-hilig ni Doktora bumili niyan, para sabi ko ba kung masasayang na naman ito pag ito ginamit, naglalagay ako niyan talaga sa aking oatmeal. Pero ngayon ko lang na-discover kung gaano pala siya galing. So, mga kaibigan, subukan nyo yan. Ikaw din, Mami Fem, ha? Sinusubukan mo rin?
Actually, naubos na yung stock ko dito eh. Bibili na lang po ako ulit.
Okay. Diba?
Actually,
Mighty Seeds, oh?
Oo, nilalagay ko siya sa aking homemade yogurt. And of course, sa aking paboritong drinks.
Yes.
Kasi para siyang sago.
Oo, pag no?
Sa tubig or sa juice.
Yes.
Yan. And of course, ang chia seeds, naku, super food siya eh. Sa tingin ko yung klaseng because it has amazing benefits. Sabi nga, its rich nutrient profile, which is kanina nabanggit mo na, it boosts heart health, control appetite. Totoo ba to? Support weight loss, promotes bone health, alleviates inflammation, and it's easy to incorporate. Tama ka, no? Kahit saan pwede mo siyang ilagay.
Yes, oo.
Parang ang sarap-sarap niya pagka inaano mo sa mouth, no? And Mami Narlene, ano naman ang benefits ng psyllium?
Psyllium husk. No? The top 5 unique benefits of psyllium husk. Espagol, sa other name niyan. Psyllium relieves constipation. No? Ang sabi nga, ang psyllium husk is a soluble fiber used primarily as a gentle bulk, forming laxative in products such as Metamucil. It comes from a shrub-like herb called Plantago ovata that grows worldwide, but it's common in India. O, yung pala yan, no? So, doon sa nahihirapang mag-remove, mag-inom kayo ng psyllium, na anything that has psyllium husk para matulungan ng inyong constipation. It may help treat diarrhea also. It can lower blood sugar levels. It can lower cholesterol levels. It seems to be good for the heart. And it may also boost satiety and aid weight loss. O, hindi na kayo masyado mahirapan yung hirap na hirap magpapayat tulad ko. Pwede ko na pala ito magamit. And of course, with kasamang exercises.
Opo, Mami Narlene. Actually, kung pupunta po kayo ng drugstore, or like in Mercury, ang daming flavors na niya na nasa shea. Yun ang maganda doon. May pineapple flavor, may orange flavor, may calamansi flavor. Para pagka tinimplahan mo siya, may flavor. Diba? Kasi dati walang flavor eh. Ano lang siya. Kaya hindi siya masarap. Yung pala, pwede mo pala sinalo yan sa kahit na anong juice mo.
Yes.
Yung pala yun eh. And it's a source of fiber. Lalo na kung ikaw ay hindi mahilig kumain ng gulay, I think one of the alternative. At may naman, I think affordable siya, Mami. Marami na siya sa online.
So, meron yan si Doktora. Meron siya yan.
Ganda yan.
Kaya nung naririnig ako, nagbabasa ko nitong psyllium. Sabi niya, Mama, meron ako niyan. Hindi ka lang minsan umiinom. Hahanapin ko na inom na rin ako.
Kaya akmang-akma pala yung episode natin sa'yo rin, no? Ayan. Of course, ayan, ako. Yun na. Nagtatapos ang ating episode about breastfeeding myths. And of course, a recipe for lactating moms na do bake like lactating cookies. Maraming salamat po muli. Of course, to all our listeners ng Usapang Pantahanan, and of course, to our special guest from Malaysia. Despite of her busy schedule, but she was able to grace us for this episode. Thank you very much, Dr. Norna Sira Suhairum, or Dr. Nod. Thank you, and I hope that next time you can be able to share again here in our channel. Mami Narlene, what's your parting words?
Yes, Dr. Norna Sira Suhairum, maraming salamat in Philippines. Thank you very much for sharing with us your journey in breastfeeding, and of course, for debunking the fallacies and the exposing the fallacies na hindi naman pala talagang mahirap ang breastfeeding, at mas marami pa itong it has more benefits. I mean, it has more benefits than those who are afraid to breastfeed. So maraming salamat. Thank you very much for sharing. And again, just like as Mami Fem has told you, we are again inviting you in our other episodes, and I hope you will always be giving us your time. And Mami Fem, sana mapasyalan natin siya sa kanila.
Yes.
At doon naman tayo maggawa ng ating episode mismo sa Malaysia.
Well, that's one of my proposal to her.
Yes,
maybe to visit her in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And maybe she can also visit us here in the Philippines.
Yeah. Sige.
Actually, the next Arahe conference will be held in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
darating siya.
Dr. Nats will be there.
Okay.
We can talk to her. Hi, Dr. Nats.
Yes.
Talk to her about our trip to Malaysia.
Yeah. We're excited.
Yes.
We are still inviting you to please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Usapang Pantahanan. And if it is not asking too much, please include Lalin's project. It's about dressmaking and other activities in home economics. And please share us your comments, suggestion, or whatever topics that you want us to prepare. Kami po ni Mami Fem ay laging handa na pagbigyan ng inyong mga kahilingan. Thank you very much. This is Mami Narlene
and Mami Fem, dito lamang sa Usapang Pantahanan. Bye!
Bye!
See you next
God
week.
bless everyone!